السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على أشرف المخلوقين سيدنا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep all of you safe, healthy, protect you and your families, inshallah. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He will make this month of maghfirah, rahmah, and He will accept and enable us that we will perform this Ramadan the proper way, that He will be pleased with us, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan for the invitation. And I will start with something very simple. All of us, we know that the very first verse that was revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was the word Iqra. And it's not a coincidence that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the very first message that He sent to this ummah, to the mankind, is read. Although some may think about something else, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't tell us as the very first thing, don't commit shirk. And that's very important. Or establish your prayer. And that's the imad of the deen. Or be kind to your parents. And this is one of the greatest acts of deed that you could do. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for His hikmah, and He knows more than we do, He told us, Iqra, read. Meaning, there's nothing that will be accepted from us if we don't understand the acts of ibadah that we are doing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran to His Prophet, فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ وَاسْتَغْفِرْ لِذَنْبِكَ. So the first one, you should know. You should know. And then ask Allah for forgiveness. And I wonder if we apply this very basic message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about inquiring knowledge and reading. And a little small test that some of the brothers may not like it. How much Quran did you memorize during the last year? Just last year. One surah or none? It's a very important message because we spend a lot of time in a lot of things and we all claim that we love Quran. But when we see our result and how much Quran I have or I gain or I study last month or last entire year, I found it is very poor or sometimes none. And especially when I say, how much Quran did you memorize? Did you go over just last 30 juz, at least the last 30 juz? Did you increase your knowledge about some surahs, you forgot them, and then you review them? The reason why I'm saying so is also that we cannot worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala but only by learning about this deen. And here's another touch over here. We all spend a lot of time in reading about Islam, but through the Facebook, through the WhatsApp groups, many pages. And most of the time, the information that we are getting from there are not authentic. Most of the time. And we don't pay attention to that, that's fine. But what we do is share those information. And then when you realize that was wrong, say, oh, it's not me, I just shared it with someone. So you are part of that chain, that you're also spreading something which is not true. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that is a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, when he said, "Man kadhaba alayya muta'ammidan, falyatabawa maq'adahu min an-nar." Whoever lies on my behalf, he should pick his place in Jahannam. Imagine, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, as-sadiq al-masduq, he is the one who are giving us this warning. Whoever lies on my behalf, he should pick his place in Jahannam. You may say, I didn't do it intentionally. But look how severe is the warning over here. Picking a place in Jahannam. And he's not talking to non-believers. Definitely when he said, whoever lies on my behalf, he was not talking to the mushrikeen. He was not talking to anyone but to the believers. He's saying to them, whoever lies on my behalf, he should pick his place in Jahannam. An example of many messages that we send and we share, and probably we never even think about, let me check if this hadith is really true or not. You see someone doing something or exaggerate in his work, and then when you ask him, he will say to you, probably this word, most of us we know, say, al-amalu ibadah. You heard about this, right? And we repeat that all the time. Is this a hadith? No. Did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam even ever say this? No. So when I say so, and I say al-amal ibadah, and I am referring to this is the saying of Rasulullah, I took the position to lie on his behalf. Oh, I didn't do it intentionally. But you're not careful. Imagine, any of us will take some kind of medicine without knowing if the medicine is good or bad. No, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to harm myself. I'm going to harm my body. Yes. So in that, you're very careful. But in this one, you say, al-amal ibadah. And you say, okay, is amal ibadah? Subhanallah? Definitely not. The ibadah has to be assigned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His Prophet. We all know that, so I'm working 24/7 because you're working 24/7 because you want to make more money. It's more worldly things than anything else. If you are telling me that you're working only for the purpose to take this money and invest it for the sake of Allah, that's a different story. But still, you cannot claim that al-amalu ibadah because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't say so, and you didn't take a permission from him. Subhanallah. Another hadith, just an example again, which is sometimes we share all the time. That little song that probably since we were kids we memorize it. طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا لله داع أيها المبعوث فينا جئت بالأمر المطاع جئت شرفت المدينة مرحبا يا خير داع. It's a beautiful poem, and we have it on YouTube, singing it, small kids, everybody's singing that. And they say, what is this? Oh, this is when the Prophet ﷺ came to Medina and the people were waiting for him. This is what we learn. But actually that's not true. Completely not true. Why it's not true? It's a beautiful poem. Subhanallah. From the very first verse, when you read that, it says, طلع البدر علينا. The moon has rise up. من ثنيات الوداع. From the valley of Wada'. The moon over here referred to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that he came to Medina from the valley of Wada'. And subhanallah, that's also a mistake because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't come to Medina from the valley of Wada'. The valley of Wada', which is there, exists. It is located in the north of Medina, all the way in the north of Medina. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was migrating from Mecca to Medina, and Mecca is south. How can he enter from the north? And he's running away. He just went, and he has someone to help him. There's no way. He was not driving, definitely, right? And it took him days. So we know that story is not true. Still, we spread this, subhanAllah. I'm moving to the last and third point, subhanAllah. Because of this, we lack of knowledge, and we lack that we don't want to learn, although the books are there. The books are around us now, and everything is in your hand. Just a little click, and you get everything. This hadith, yes, or this hadith, no. But all of us, we know that there is a book called Sahih al-Bukhari, right? The most famous scholar. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him. He spent all his life for this purpose, for this reason. Yes, his amal was really ibadah. He sacrificed his life for this purpose in order to remove any doubt about the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Imam al-Bukhari in his life also, he realized this, that a lot of people are fabricating ahadith. They're making some ahadith, and some of them definitely with a bad intention. They did that because they want to spoil the Islam from the inside. But some with good intention. One of the good intention that the people claimed, in a certain time, a lot of people started learning about ahadith, about fiqh, about so, and probably they did not give that much attention to the Quran, to read more Quran, to memorize the Quran. So some of them, in order to motivate people, what they did, they fabricated intentionally a lot of ahadith about the fada'il of each surah. So for example, say, if you read Surah Al-Waqi'ah, and a lot of people hear that, if you read Surah Al-Waqi'ah, you will not be poor anymore. If you read Surah this, if you read, probably 99.99% of the ahadith about the fada'il of the surahs are all fabricated. Fabricated. It's not only da'if. It's not only a weak hadith. It's made up. It's made by someone. Going back again. So Imam al-Bukhari, rahimahullah, in his book, which is, all of us, we know this book. And by the way, this book, always say Bukhari. Is the Bukhari his name or the name of the book? The book is called, subhanallah, Al-Jami' al-Sahih. Al-Jami' al-Sahih is the collection of the authentic ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And definitely, the person's name is Muhammad ibn Ismail, and so on, so on, so on. So this person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed him. And by the way, it's a unique story about him. Just to close with this, subhanallah. Bukhari was not an Arab. He was not an Arab, father, mother. No, they were not. He was born in what we call Bukhara right now. It's a part of what they called Khorasan a long time ago. Subhanallah. Born and raised at the age of 10. He memorized the Quran. He lost his father, subhanallah. And his mom decided, although they were not that wealthy, decided to come to Mecca to perform Hajj. When he came, he loved the place. And he wanted to stay there. And the mother and the brother went back to Bukhara. And al-Bukhari, subhanallah, Muhammad ibn Ismail, stayed there in Mecca, visit Medina. He went to Egypt, he went to Iraq, he went to Syria, he went to Yemen. Any place that he could hear about the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, until he compiled this book, which we call Al-Jami' al-Sahih, which took him around 16 years to do this job. Al-Bukhari, in this book, he followed a certain method, which is just unique, subhanallah. What is that method, subhanallah? You don't find it in any other civilization before us. I know of us who read history, you read about the Alexander the Great. How authentic is the information that you get in about him? None. Or the Greeks, or whatever is that. There's nothing authentic, but we accept it. Whatever the people say in the history, we take it. Al-Bukhari said, no. This is a different issue. I am talking about who? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So every word from his mouth, every action that he did, it has to be certified, and I have to follow a certain method. And that's how he established this book, subhanallah. Out of around 600,000 hadiths, which is he memorized, right? The collection was only around 7,000 something. When you open the book, Sahih al-Bukhari, and you see the number of the hadith, you'll find only 7,600 something. Imagine. By the way, if you take those ahadith, they are being repeated. So the whole ahadith are how many? It's only 2,600 hadith, subhanAllah, 2,600 something. And these are the hadith that he said, before I write down any hadith, I do 2 rak'ahs to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for istikhara, and then I will write it down. And that's why this book was given a qubul, not only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but from everyone in this ummah. The people came after him, and then they criticized the book, but in a proper way. They studied the book by hundreds, and I will say thousands or more, hundreds of thousands of books that were written just about the Bukhari. And in the end, the result, they say, this is the most authentic book about Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his life, or the most authentic book after Al-Quran Al-Kareem. I will stop over here and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He will give us the tawfiq to read and understand. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawfiq and the ability that He will choose us among the people, that He will bless them. Jazakumullahu khairan for listening to me. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.